So I'm currently in Pince's Gardens in Exeter, and it's middle of March, and this beautiful tree in front of me is a larch tree. Now, quite often a lot of people will walk past this fantastic tree and comment that it looks dead or it's dying. So that is actually normal for larch trees. They are deciduous conifers, which are quite unusual because most conifers are evergreen, but the larch family are deciduous conifers. Now, in the UK, we mainly have European larch, but there's also Japanese larch, and then there's hybrid larch, and this one appears to be a Japanese larch. So we're going to have a closer look now. So I'll try and keep the camera steady as I can. Larch trees get quite tall, and I say they're actually mainly planted in for timber, that sort of thing, whereas this one luckily is planted in Pince's garden for its sheer beauty. So you can probably see on all the twigs and branches the cones. So they are the mature female cones, which we'll have a closer look in a minute. Now, we're very lucky because during this time in March it happens to be flowering season. So we're going to see what these flowers look like on this fantastic tree. We'll come to the bark in a minute. I need to find some suitable flowers, which I think these ones will do the job. Hopefully the sun won't get in my I think it will actually. So if I just turn around, there we go. So as you can see, absolutely stunning flower. This is the female flower, sometimes coined the larch rose, and it is as pretty as a rose when you look at it. So this tree is absolutely covered in these lovely flowers. You've probably noticed these little sort of yellow little dangling type clusters here. They are the male flowers. Yep, so these little guys, their job is just to get the pollen released into the air, and as you can see they're so close to the various female flowers that then the pollen gets inside and then the cycle of life continues. Amazing. So as I said, this whole tree is absolutely covered in flowers, male and female. If you were to follow this twig down, as you can see, the male flowers outnumber the female flowers quite a lot, and that's quite normal because obviously these guys are wind pollinated, so they rely heavily on the wind to get the male pollen from there into these female flowers, which, as I said, there are a lot of them. Now, over time, the female flowers will then turn into these, your larch cones. I'll try and get a better view. I might have to get another cone, but you can just about see, so that's the bottom of the cone, but again that takes a while, sort of about a year from memory. So as I said, this I believe is a Japanese larch, the reason being the cones, the very tips, if you look at the tips of the cones, they sort of curve down. That's more characteristic to Japanese larch. European larch doesn't tend to do that. And then hybrid larch is different again. From a distance you wouldn't really be able to tell easily any of the larches, and there are more than European, Japanese and hybrid, but as I said, in the UK that tends to be what is around. As I said, Japanese larch is normally planted more for ornamental use, whereas the other two are normally planted for timber and construction and that sort of thing. So the ground, we can see parts of the root system, more importantly, you can see absolutely loads of cones that get scattered. So as I said, this is a good example here, is when those lovely red flowers over time mature into these cones. The cones then, as you say, you can collect them on the twig, and in this case there's a good 7 there, but the floor's littered with them. And then, like I say, seeds get released and then they carry on, and this is how they sort of propagate. They don't propagate through suckers, it is strictly through wind pollination. So we'll get back to the tree because we sort of covered what's going on in the ground. There must be hundreds of various cones scattered around. So this beautiful tree and its trunk, as you can see, so as I said, it's in Pince's Gardens, so this is managed by the Exeter City Council. A lot of the large branches at the bottom have been cut off many years ago, and you can actually see the tree's defence for dealing with that. Much like when we fall over and hurt ourselves, we then get scabs. Well, with trees they have to sort of seal the wounds with various different types of sap to do so. But yeah, they had to probably do this because these low branches, they will stick out quite a way, and when you've got small children running around, not probably the safest thing to do. So these have been cut quite high. This is well above my head. If you go right up to the tree, you've got the beautiful canopy, if I can just about get that. As I said, this is not a very tall tree. This larch, if left unchecked, would get considerably taller. I believe the hybrid larch would be the tallest out of the 3. That seems to be a characteristic with a lot of hybrid trees. They're typically taller or bigger than their parents. But yeah, so this is a larch, Japanese larch in Pince's Gardens. So getting back to the flowers, which we'll do now, let's pick on some different ones, I think. Maybe, there we go. So again, we call this being monoecious, which means both the male and female flowers are on the same tree, but different parts. So it's really great to actually see this. So we're very lucky that we caught it at the right time, because they don't last long, unfortunately, these larch flowers, weeks in some cases. And then, like I say, once the male flowers, or sorry, cones technically, have done their job, they'll just sort of fall to the ground. And then, of course, the very important thing, the wind's picked up now, is the leaves. Now, again, deciduous, so the leaves, sorry, the wind is really croppy there. You can just see the new leaves just beginning to form. So if we come back in April, May, all the red lovely flowers will become young cones. Male flowers, sorry, cones would have gone, but this will be a life of green. As I said, in the autumn, these lovely sort of green leaves then turn into lovely orange yellow for a short time. So these are planted because they're just such beautiful trees. We're very lucky to have this Japanese larch here. I mean, it's mesmerising when you're under the canopy. Be here for hours. And despite a few drops of rain, it's actually been a very nice day here. I think that about concludes this very short discussion about this fantastic tree. So any comments, please leave below. You know, anything you want to add to it, if there's any fascinating facts, or if I've got anything slightly wrong, yeah, please pop them in the comments so I can update it, and I can sort of come back and do another video if need be. I think we'll just sort of quickly walk back and then you can see the whole tree again, and then we'll end the video. It's very late in the afternoon now. so the sun's beginning to set. Yep, lovely tree. Thanks for watching, and as I said, please leave any good comments below. Bye bye.